Isn't it disappointing when a $10 million house that's just outside of your budget gets sold on Zillow? And who doesn't love endlessly browsing through Zillow to see whether a $1 million house matches your vibes or if the bathroom comes with a heated floor? I can honestly spend hours on end scrolling through newly added homes across the country in the middle of nowhere. But if you're actually serious about buying a new house this year or even in the next couple of years, I would actually advise getting off of Zillow until you've done the next three things that I'll be talking about in this video. Now, if you stick around until the end, I will be giving away a checklist for new home buyers, and I'll talk about how you could access it for free later on in the video. Now, number one is know your budget and how much home you could really afford, which includes closing costs, appraisals, inspection, down payment, and etc. Without actually knowing how much you could realistically afford, it feels almost too easy to blow past your absolute upper limit. And something to keep in mind is that mortgage lenders can and will usually lend out more than what someone could realistically and comfortably afford. So just because a mortgage lender said it could lend you $1.5 million does not mean you should find a place for that much. This is why so many families that make above six figures in the United States still live paycheck to paycheck because they have a mortgage that eats up most of their disposable income. And that means they can't afford to lose their job or even change careers because of that. Now, when it comes to the cost, there are actually two things. One is the cost of actually buying the house, and the other one is the cost of the monthly payments. And the cost of buying the house includes things that I mentioned, down payments, typically around 3.5 to 20%, depending on what kind of loan you have. Closing costs is another 3 to 6% of the home value. Inspection, appraisals, furnitures, attorney fees, and title insurance, which could really add around $5,000 to $8,000 depending on your area. And the monthly payment usually includes mortgage payment, interest, insurance, PMI, taxes, HOAs, and maintenance cost. Now, a good rule of thumb for house expenses is using and spending no more than 28% of your monthly gross income. So that means monthly payments for your mortgage, insurance, and your taxes should not actually exceed that threshold. If your monthly gross income is around $10,000, then you should be spending around $2,800 a month for all those bills. You can also use a home affordability calculator, and this will help to calculate how much home you could afford. And you would input information such as the zip code or the city that you're looking to buy, your annual household income before taxes, your down payment that you've saved up, other monthly obligations such as debt, a car payment, student loans, things of that such, and lastly, things like credit score. Now, before we go into number two, if you like the content thus far, I would really appreciate it if you could like and subscribe, and this is the best way to support the channel and the content that I try to produce. And number two is list out all of your non-negotiables and nice to haves. So these are basically your needs and wants when it comes to a house. Now, this list is bound to change as you start looking at the houses, but it's always good to have something in the beginning so you could update and reference back to this list as you go along. And this will help to keep focus on the things that you actually need about the house and not get distracted about the marble countertops or things like that. If you know you need a certain amount of bedrooms and bathrooms, or if you need a good school system for your kids, or you need to be in a location that's close to family or a workplace, it's always good to have the reminder on what you can't negotiate on. And a good thing about this is that this will also help to cut down on the list of potential houses that you want to see. And rather than wasting time on trying to see every place, you could actually start seeing the places and just cut out any houses that don't fulfill all of your needs. And you could also use this list of your wants to understand what you're willing to give up on, because it's very rare that you can get everything that you need and want in a house. And even if you can't get everything that you want in the house right now when you buy, you can always use this list to improve your house later on. But like I mentioned, as you look at more and more houses later on, once you complete these three steps, make sure you reference and update this list. Now, I think it'll be cool to kind of talk about my example when it comes to this. My fiance and I actually needed at least 2 bedrooms and at least 1.5 bathrooms. So that eliminated a lot of houses that did not fit that criteria. And we even removed ones with 4 bedrooms, but with only one full bathroom. And another example that we needed was somewhat of an easy access to public transportations to commute to and from work. And so those were the 2 needs that we had. But an example of a want was a finished basement that wasn't entirely necessary, as we knew we could hire someone to renovate it and put the cost into our mortgage, and we could sacrifice that if that wasn't included into the house. Now I want to hear what you think, and so I want you to write down in the comments below what are some of your needs and wants when it comes to buying a house this year in this market. Now going on to number 3 is understand the timeline of home buying process. It's typically a long journey, so expect this process to take anywhere from 5 months to 12 months depending on your budget and depending on how hot your local real estate market is. And if you don't know what that means, that just basically means how fast are the housing inventories moving and whether they're going way above asking price, typically maybe around $30,000 to $50,000 above asking. Now, as an example, my fiance and I started looking at buying a house on January 1st of this year, 2023. And we're looking to actually hopefully close by May or June of this year. Now, knowing the typical timeline will actually help you in the long run to be patient and plan ahead, because it could actually be a very discouraging process in a situation where you love some places, but you get outbid or everything that you seem to like is just out of your budget. You may be anxious and feel like you're in a hurry to buy, and you might end up actually spending a lot more than what you're comfortable paying. Or another situation is that you may end up buying a place that you don't actually fully enjoy. But another bad situation is if you feel like you're in a hurry and you end up waiving inspections or appraisal contingencies, you may actually miss out on major issues about the house, and you may not see it until you end up buying it. So make sure you pace yourself when it comes to buying a house. It's a good reminder for yourself to, as you go into the process, to not fall in love with the house right away, and always be prepared to walk away if the numbers don't line up, or if some non-negotiables or your needs are missing. Now, as promised, as a thank you for watching this video up to this point, I want to give you a free resource on the home buying process checklist, which includes the 3 things I talked about in the video and many more. And I think anyone in the process of buying a home will benefit from this, and you could get this using the link below. Now, with that, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks.